Is there a more deceptive time of year in the baseball calendar than mid-February? The grass is perfectly manicured, the Florida sun is shining, and every single player in the league is technically in the best shape of their life. But don't let the postcard aesthetics of Clearwater fool you. For some, this isn't a vacation, it is a career death match. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As we barrel toward February 11th, the day pitchers and catchers report, the Philadelphia Phillies are entering a spring training that feels fundamentally different from the last few years. The roster stability we have grown accustomed to, it's cracking at the edges. The departure of Ranger Suárez in free agency has left a spiritual and tactical void in that clubhouse that cannot be filled by vibes alone. We are looking at a rotation in transition and a lineup that is aging, all while the specter of a massive youth movement looms large over the complex. While the headlines are dominated by the shiny new toys, the electric arm of Andrew Painter returning from surgery, and the blazing speed of Justin Crawford, there is a darker, more desperate narrative unfolding in the background. We need to talk about the guys on the bubble, the guys who aren't fighting for a massive extension, but are fighting for their professional lives. This spring training isn't just about getting loose. It is a high-stakes audition where one bad week could mean a ticket back to the minor leagues, a trade to a baseball purgatory, or the unemployment line. The front office has made it clear. The core is the core, but the fringes of this roster are wide open. And with the departure of depth pieces, the safety net is gone. Think about the pressure cooker of the Carpenter complex right now. You have Aidan Miller walking in, the golden child of the future, soaking up the limelight, even though he likely won't crack the opening day 26-man roster. His presence alone turns up the heat on every veteran infielder clinging to a bench spot. It's the circle of life in MLB, but it is brutal to watch up close. The Phillies have roster spots to give, yes, but they are not charities. They are looking for efficiency. They are looking for the final pieces of a championship puzzle. And for three specific players we are about to discuss, the next 6 weeks will define not just their 2026 season, but potentially the trajectory of their entire careers. The margin for error has evaporated. The Suárez void means the pitching staff is under a microscope, and the offensive inconsistencies of 2025 mean the bench mob needs to produce immediately. Let's dive into the first name on the hot seat. Let's start in the outfield, specifically with a situation that feels like a high-wire act without a net. We need to talk about Otto Kemp. If you have been listening to the press conferences from Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson this winter, you would think Kemp is the second coming of a utility god. The praise has been effusive, bordering on hyperbolic. They have essentially handed him the keys to the left field platoon alongside Brandon Marsh. On paper, the plan looks sound. Marsh mashes righties, Kemp handles the lefties. In 2025, Kemp posted a very respectable .786 OPS and a 118 WRC plus against Southpaws in a limited sample size. Those are the numbers of a useful, contributing big leaguer. But here is the dangerous reality. Words are cheap in December, but performance is the only currency that matters in March. The Phillies have painted themselves into a corner here. By releasing Weston Wilson, a guy who had a specific redundant skill set but provided a known floor, they have removed the safety valve. There is no plan B currently in the organization that offers the same right-handed pop and versatility. This puts an immense, crushing amount of pressure on Otto Kemp. He isn't just competing for a spot, he is being asked to validate the front office's decision to clear the deck for him. If Kemp shows up to Clearwater and looks overmatched, if his timing is off, or if that OPS against lefties looks like a small sample size mirage, the Phillies are in serious trouble. They would be forced to scramble on the waiver wire or make a panic trade, neither of which is ideal for a contender. We also have to consider the age factor. Kemp is 26 years old. In the modern game, where 21-year-olds are debuting and dominating, 26 is no longer young prospect territory. This is his prime. This is the moment where he either establishes himself as a legitimate major league regular or gets labeled as a quad-A player. Too good for the minors, not quite good enough for the show. The platoon role is one of the hardest jobs in baseball. You don't get consistent at-bats to find your rhythm. You have to come in cold against specialist relievers and produce instantly. If Kemp struggles early in the Grapefruit League, the whispers will start. The fans will clamor for an external addition. The coaching staff will start looking at non-roster invitees with wandering eyes. Kemp has everything to gain, but he absolutely has the most to lose because the organization has bet their left field depth entirely on his shoulders. Moving to the mound, we encounter the most volatile and binary situation in professional baseball, the Rule 5 draft pick. Enters Zack, a right-handed pitcher snatched from the Miami Marlins organization. For those who don't know the intricacies of the Rule 5 draft, let me simplify it. It is a hostage situation. McCambley must remain on the Phillies' active 26-man roster for the entire season. He cannot be optioned to Lehigh Valley to work on his mechanics. He cannot be stashed on the phantom injured list without raising suspicions from the league office. It is major leagues or bust. If he doesn't make the team, he must be offered back to the Marlins or traded away. This creates a scenario where every single pitch he throws in spring training carries the weight of his employment status. McCambley is walking a tightrope over a pit of alligators. His minor league numbers are tantalizing: a 2.90 ERA, a 1.097 whip, and a strikeout-to-walk ratio that suggests he has swing-and-miss stuff. The Philly scouts clearly saw something in his pitch mix, likely a high-spin breaking ball or a fastball with unique characteristics that the Marlins undervalued. But projecting minor league success to the MLB bullpen is a fool's errand. We have seen countless Rule 5 picks flame out before April even begins. Remember, he is not just competing against himself. He is competing against established veterans on minor league deals and other internal options like Jonathan Bolin, who finds himself in a similarly precarious position. The bullpen is the most volatile unit on any team. Managers crave certainty. Rob Thompson needs to know that when he calls down to the pen in the 7th inning of a tie game, the guy coming in won't walk the bases loaded. McCambley has to prove in a span of 10 to 12 innings that he has the poise and the command to handle big league hitters. If he gets lit up in 2 or 3 outings, if he walks a couple of guys, the experiment will end abruptly. The Phillies are in win-now mode. They cannot afford to carry a project player just for the sake of potential. McCambley is effectively auditioning for 29 other teams as well. If the Phillies cut him, he needs to have shown enough to warrant a trade. He is the player with the most immediate tangible loss facing him. His spot in the organization entirely. It is a brutal, cutthroat reality, and he will be pitching for his life every time he takes the mound in Clearwater. Finally, we arrive at the most polarizing figure on the roster, a player who has become a Rorschach test for the fan base, Johan Rojas. The situation surrounding Rojas is inextricably linked to the elephant in the room, Nick Castellanos. It is frankly shocking that Castellanos is still on this roster as we speak, but assuming a move is made or a bench role is defined, Rojas is theoretically the favorite for the reserve outfield spot. But let's be brutally honest, the favorite label is hanging by a thread. We are entering year 4 of the Johan Rojas experience, and the story remains frustratingly the same. Elite, gold glove caliber defense paired with a bat that looks like it belongs in high A ball. You cannot be a 0 on offense in the modern MLB, no matter how many runs you save with your glove. Rojas has been demoted to AAA in back-to-back years. That is a damning trend. It signals that the organization wants him to succeed, but simply cannot trust him when the games count. He has a slight advantage over a prospect like Gabriel Rincones Jr., simply because Rojas hits right-handed, balancing the outfield mix. But that advantage is razor-thin. If Rojas shows up to spring training and is still chasing sliders in the dirt, still hitting weak ground balls to shortstop, and still looking lost at the plate, the patience will finally run out. He has 1 minor league option year left, which is both a blessing and a curse. It means the Phillies can send him down again, but it also means he is expendable. We are approaching change of scenery territory here. Sometimes a player just needs a new voice, a new organization, to unlock their potential. If Rojas flops this spring, the Phillies might decide that his roster spot is better utilized by a veteran bat with a lower defensive ceiling but a higher offensive floor. He is fighting the bust label with every at-bat. So, here is the question for you, the fans. Who do you think is the most vulnerable? Do you trust Otto Kemp to handle the platoon? Is McCamberley a hidden gem or a waste of a roster spot? And is it finally time to move on from the Johan Rojas experiment if the bat hasn't improved? Let me know in the comments below. The stakes in Clearwater have never been higher. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our breakdown of the first spring training games. I'll see you next time.